Hey now, welcome back. Now, my name is John, the Vinyl Village Garage. That's the Flamborghini. You may be asking where that name came from. Well, that car is going to be repainted the Flambeau Burgundy back to the original color. So, Flambeau Burgundy. Okay, you can have my hand with my names here. The Vinyl Village Garage. It doesn't get any better. And then Transmarado. You get the idea. But anyway, 1968 Firebird convertible. Got it most of the way, like 80%, 95% disassembled, torn apart, or what's left of it. And that's what I want to show you, what's left of it, and what we plan to do to get this thing back on the road in really great condition. It is probably maybe the worst car, or a close second to the worst car. The one over there, the old Transmarado, it was rusted bad. This car has rust in different areas, so it's going to promote different challenges, and maybe your car is rusted this way. So let me show you all the bad spots, and then I'll let you know those are all things you're going to be taking care of here, so don't want to miss. All right, so let's just take in all the goodness. Our front subframe, I don't find any collision damage that needs repairs, so that's going to be a pretty quick turn, I think. Pull all the suspension off the engine, transmission. The Turbo 350 transmission, I believe we're going to reuse that. It's like a 1970-something 400 block. Probably not going to do anything with that besides put it in the pile of parts, maybe use for another day or a rainy day or something along those lines. Now, that's kind of where we're at with that part of it. Now, the rest of the front sheet metal, the front fenders, fender wells, they're not in that great of shape. Now, the firewall in the front of the car, well, actually, hold on. Now, let's talk about something else here. You know, like the Grinch's heart grew 2 sizes too big, and it was a good thing? Well, my subframe holes, they've grown 2 sizes too big, and that's not a good thing. All 4 of them are pretty bad decay, but hey, it's okay. I know a guy who's going to doctor those things up. I'll do a video on patching those up again and making them look super sharp and work really nice. Now, the firewall, on the other hand, is actually in pretty good shape. The seam right here, no swelling, no splitting or anything. That looks fantastic. That's one of the first times I've not had any troubles in that area. Now, the heater box, completely 100% garbage. I haven't decided what we're going to do. We're going to do a vintage air kit. Maybe I'll do the block-off plate. Other cars, I try to make it look factory and reinstall this. So, I don't know. This one's definitely not going to get reinstalled, but it kind of gives you an idea what we're fighting here. Now, taking this thing apart, I have that nut there kick my butt. If you can see what I ended up doing, the cage nut trashed the cage. I welded it to itself there to finish getting the bolt out of it. That worked pretty good. That's the first time I've ever had a bolt fight me during removal. I had the bolt where the bolt itself was rusted almost to nothingness and still come out. Well, this one fought me, but the bolt still looks pretty good. It's actually in okay shape, but it just did not want to come out. I started cutting it with a Sawzall, and I'll tell you, that was just too slow going for me. So I just went ahead and welded the nut into place. Now, the bottom of the dash, let's talk about that. I'm going to probably say most of these cars have rust issues here. This has extreme. The rest of the cowling is in really nice shape. So I plan on fabricating and repairing the inner dash here, the top of the cowl that goes underneath the dash panel. We need to remove the dash panel first. We'll investigate, but that's going to be probably a lot of hand fabbing some pieces and welding them in there. Now, these holes are supposed to be here. Those are the holes where the screw goes through for the trim. They're oversized because they give you room for air. And they still missed them most of the time, but that's what those holes are all about. And we double checked my VIN. It still matches. It's still just a plain Jane 350 car. Nothing super special out of the ordinary. Now, my windshield frame. First time I won't have to do any repairs on that. It's got a little bit of rust here in this side, but I believe it'll sandblast out. But the rest of it, a little surfacey rust, you keep going across, looks better and better and better. So, lucked out on that. So our scorecard so far, I'm going to buy a dash panel, repair that. My torque boxes, I'm probably going to replace both of them. They're rusted on the bottom. I'll show you here in a second. So that'll take care of my broken nut situation. Rocker panel, toast. And they make a patch here for the bottom of the door jamb. Yep, going to need that too because it doesn't exist. Now the weird part is the cowling, surprisingly, survived. I don't normally get that. Like, normally these are missing the whole bottom section. Now, I suspect on the inside, we probably have piles of dirt in there. Well, I'll dig that out once I get the kick panels out of the way. Now, floorboards, or what's called lack thereof. The firewall section needs replaced. The torque box should be coming across here. It's missing, rusted away, so we'll be replacing that. This little brace here for convertibles, only convertibles have that. That will be replaced. Clearly, the entire floor pan. Now, the driver's side has a little more Flintstone power. It goes further up the firewall. She's bad, but that's okay. Same thing. You can replace that. The convertible brace, going to replace that. Seat bases, I'm going to do the one-piece floor pan. It goes from the firewall bottom all the way back here to that seam. Now, my seat back. That corner is gone and missing. That seems to be the only really, really bad spot. Now you can buy that whole panel about 300 bucks. I think I'm gonna repair that, save a few dollars. I have a little minor rot here, so I'll probably end up rebuilding it from here to here, but I think that's something we could fab up here and take care of, no problem. Now the rocker panel is completely gone, both sides, driver and passenger side. Door jamb, yeah, that is not good whatsoever. Again, new quarter panel. So the other thing that's really interesting about this car, the piece you can't buy, this inner structure. The piece here on the inside of the quarter panels are not available for convertibles. Coupes, you can buy that lower section, or you can buy the entire side of the car. Convertible, I know they make repop bodies, so someone makes a stamping for it, but they don't sell that panel. Normally, I'm fabbing those up and building them, but this side here, nope, it does have some rust, but we're not rusted through. It's going to sandblast, clean that up, chemically treat it, call it good, but the whole thing is good down to there, so won't have to build those. So that's one of the first on the convertible for me. Then we get back here to, of course, this is part of the full quarter panel. The seam is somewhere about here, so this dead spot here will get replaced with the full quarter panel. Now, getting to the back of the car, I've not had to mess with. I've been very fortunate. Most of my cars I've built, the trunk gutter is not damaged. Well, the quarter panel is bad, but the trunk gutter, oh, it should be right in through here. This is the trunk gutter piece I'm touching. But she's pretty soft. And then there's an inner brace for convertibles here. Same thing, it's a little soft, so I'll be hand fabbing. See the swelling here between the panels? I gotta remove that. I just, when you open the trunk, you're gonna see that. That just won't fly with me. I'm gonna have to do some doctoring. Now we get here to the front part. I think it's okay. So our panel between the back window or the top to the trunk looks to be all right. Trunk floor, seriously, I did not cut this thing out. This is exactly how this car was purchased by us. And I kind of knew what I was getting into, but someone's done some frame patching in the life of this car. Welds right here, you can see the patches and everything. So this has been scabbed on or repaired on. A cut line right there, you can see it. Not the best repair, but someone was giving it a go at one point in its life. So someone was trying to save it. Now this side looks horrible. That frame rail is completely junk. So we'll be doing a trunk floor. Frame rails, we're going to repair that little spot down there. We're going to do the trunk drop-offs. Now I had a viewer friend. He also builds cars. He handmade the cocktail shaker mounts that attach for convertibles to go to these two holes here and there in the floorboard. So I have those, and they're made in Canada. So it even says it right on it. Really awesome guy helped me out with that. It's going to help me out immensely. Now our tail panel, junk. There should be a gutter here. There's nothing left, completely gone. So tail panel, and then the inner tear panel, lower valence, whatever you want to call it, it's not in that great a shape. Now this tail panel's had some work before. I don't know if I can get it show up in the camera, but it has weird spot welds. Someone has done some booger welding on this, so it's had some rear end collision damage probably somewhere in its life. Now my doors, on the other hand, unfortunately, I don't think they're worth trying to save. I did some looking at them. The whole bottom of the door, that's the hole supposed to be there. There's just holes rusted all through the doors. Both doors look like that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get some doors for it. So I've been making a list, and to get this thing done up right, it's gonna need a lot of pieces, parts. And we're also gonna do this steering wheel. We're gonna rebuild that. I'm gonna take care of the cracks. Louis, my friend there in Pennsylvania, has done a video on fixing these. So I don't know how far I'll go with it, but I'll definitely show a little something on how to patch these things up. These are kind of a neat steering wheel, 1 year only thing. I think it's a really cool look for the car, so definitely going to try to spend the time to bring this guy back. So I'll be doing some stuff on that too, just the same. Now the driver's side rocker panel, when I originally looked at this car in the woods, it didn't look bad. Even the bottom pitch weld underneath the car, if you look at the down through here, it's not all rusted out or swollen. Now I had some Bondo, I could see it through here, and I started just touching it with my finger. The only thing left was the plastic. All the metal rusted off from the backside. So if I have that much rust in here, I'm going to be cutting this car completely apart. It'd be silly not to go ahead and replace that rocker panel. And again, the cowling somehow has survived on this side of the car too. It looks weird because it's that original color, that flambeau burgundy. It looks kind of rusty and dirty, but it's really not that bad. So I don't know. These panels might surprise you, but they don't look bad, but they aren't that expensive. I might put them on the parts list just so that I have them. And then we'll be going back with the power disc brake system. Again, this is not that good whatsoever, but we'll be doing a video on that. So there's kind of the quick rundown of the old Flamborghini, how good or how bad I guess it really is. So there you have it, Project Flamborghini in a nutshell. It's bad. It needs a lot of sheet metal work. Probably 85–90% of that is going to end up getting replaced. That's one of those things, if you're deciding whether you should do or not do a project, this is where they sometimes stall. They get this thing all torn apart and go, crap, this thing is a mess. So hopefully you didn't pay a whole lot for it. Let's just call that less than a $3,000 car. You'll probably be okay if you can do most of the work yourself. Now, this isn't a car that I would say is novice or beginner level. Not impossible, but you're really going to be taking on a lot if you don't have a lot of experience with it. Now, Louie, myself, Brian, JK Next Garage, especially JK Next Garage, they're building a car from scratch, similar condition, not a convertible. That does add a little bit of a challenge, but they're doing a fantastic job doing their very first car at home. A husband-wife team, fantastic. I'll try to put a link. Check them out. He's going through and watching our videos, watching other people, asking questions like you guys can do here, or gals. Reach out and say, John, here, or Louie, whoever, and we'll help you work you through this problem and try to get your car going down the road. But anyway, you now see what all sheet metal we're going to be replacing on the body shell. That's a lot, but that's very important to get this thing back on the road. And this is the stuff that I love to do. Call me crazy, but I thoroughly enjoy cutting these cars up and welding them back together. To be honest with you, I don't really care for doing the rest of the project. This is probably my favorite part. But I'll try not to get so excited and skip too much. I will definitely get the camera out here and show you the bits and pieces and how to do it here at home. You don't see a frame table. You don't see a frame rack. And some of you are going to say it can't be done. Well, I'm going to tell you it can. It just takes more time. Be meticulous, lots of measurements, and just be aware of what you're doing and do a lot of test fitting before you do any final welding. So it's going to wrap it up for this go around. I'm going to work on a parts list and then where to buy this stuff at, because if you can buy it in bulk, you're going to do a little better, especially on the shipping. I try to get all of it in one place, but I've got a kind of a weird technique, you might call it, but I will load it up all in the Summit catalog. Sorry, on their computer program. I will go to Jags, I'll do it through Ames, I'll do Classic Industries, and I'll see who can actually give me the best price altogether. I like to be, say, brand loyal if I could be, but still $50, $100, $500 makes a difference on the bottom line when putting these things back together. I'll still probably buy AMD stuff from any of those 4 companies or OER brand stuff. So I'm still sticking to my favorite brands, just who am I getting it from, who can give me the best deal on for the shipping. So anyway, rambled on enough. Like I said, we'll start here at the front. The process of building these cars, for me, in my mind, these rocker panels, that's the frame of the body. That's what you need to base all your measures from the windshield to there, the door openings to the rocker. The rocker panels really should be the first step, in my opinion, or my thoughts, and then you build everything up from that, because that is basically the frame of the car. And once you get that dialed in, we'll do the rocker panels, and we'll do the firewall lower parts here, work our way back, put the main floor pan in, seat bases, and keep working towards the rear of the car, trunk floor, frame rails, we'll do that. Then we'll do the inner and outer wheel well houses. Oh yeah, forgot to mention that. They're junk too. I think I covered everything but the wheel wells. The inner and the outer. There's some really bad spots, but they're so inexpensive, it's just not worth trying to patch them or skip over them at this point. So we'll be doing those. You get those set into place, not permanently, then install your quarter panels with your doors on the car, and you adjust your gaps, your quarter panel to your door. And there's a technique for moving the frame rails. Again, I'll be putting it on video. If you haven't seen it before in our previous videos, or this is your first time checking it out, that's how we get it done here. We dial in our gaps super close and super nice. Measurements are important, but they're not everything. What it comes down to, what's it look like when it's done? So your measurements are spot on in the book, but if you can reach your hand between the door and the door jamb when it's shut, that doesn't look right. So either you got a measurement wrong, or maybe you need to do some modifications. That's what we get into here. Get the best looking results at home in a 2-car garage. That's what we're all about, showing you how it's done, try to relieve some of the stress and confusion and headaches to make your job easier putting these things back together. So anyway, I'll make a list. We'll find out where I get this stuff from. We'll grab the camera and show you how that all came together, and we'll catch you all next time.
They say there comes a time in everybody's life they have to prove their will is strong. Just like this man from Indiana doing show cars.